Namaste, friends, and welcome to Indian Literary Classics. We are approaching the climax in our epic story, Kalki Sivakamiyin Sabatham. Thank you for your patience in listening through this long story. I have links below for the earlier episodes of the story if you haven't had a chance to hear them. We know so far that Pulikesi's siege of Kancheepuram had failed and he pretended a truce. With deceit, he manages to capture Sivakami and injure King Mahendra Varma grievously. Sivakami takes a dreadful oath that she will not come back to Kancheepuram till Narasimha Varma attacks and destroys the Chalukya kingdom. Mahendra Varma convinces Narasimha Varma to marry the Pandya princess. 9 years have passed since Narasimha Varma's marriage to Pandya princess Vanamma Devi. They now have 2 children, and Narasimha has become the Pallava Chakravarti. Mahendra Chakravarti had passed away, and after dealing with a lot of administrative challenges, Narasimha Varma is now prepared to mount an attack on the Chalukya kingdom to save Sivakami. He pays a visit to Aayanar, who has become old and weak but continues to create amazing sculptures. Narasimha is disturbed by the fact that it has taken him 9 years to fulfill the vow of the woman who loves him so dearly. As the Pallava army is marching towards the Chalukya kingdom, Narasimha Varma learns that Pulikesi has gone to Ajanta caves with the Chinese traveler Huinsang. He wants to prove to the Chinese traveler that he is in no way inferior to Emperor Harshavardhana. He wanted to show off the Ajanta sculptures and paintings. Narasimha Varma feels happy as he feels that it is a good opportunity to mount the attack and take Pulikesi by surprise. Sivakami is waiting patiently for the day her prince will come and rescue her. In moments of solitude, she wonders if she was foolish taking such an oath when she had an opportunity to go back with the prince when he had met her 9 years ago. She had heard a few times that the Pallavas were mounting an attack, but the attack never came. She has now resigned herself to her fate. Naganandi continues to convince her to drop her oath, but she just ignores him. He persists, saying that he is going to Ajanta caves with Pulikesi and the Chinese traveler and wants her to accompany them. She says that she will not leave the city under any circumstances. As Sivakami is sitting and pondering, a man in disguise approaches her and Sivakami recognizes him as Gundodaran, the spy who was working as Ayanar's disciple. Gundodaran says that Narasimha Chakravarti is planning an attack to come and save her. She is shocked when she hears the word Chakravarti. She asks Gundodaran to take her away immediately, to which Gundodaran replies, "You have waited for so long. It is just a matter of time when your oath will be fulfilled." To this Sivakami replies, "I was foolish to have taken such an oath in a moment of weakness. I do not wish war, which will only have bad impact on people. I do not want to be the reason for death and destruction." Gundodaran says it is too late now as the Pallava army is approaching fast. Pulikesi notices a strange transformation in Naganandi. His elder brother is behaving in a weird manner and particularly takes offense if anyone speaks bad of Sivakami. When Pulikesi tells Naganandi that he is turning demonic, Naganandi hisses and says, "Only now? I have been doing this for your sake all this while. I don't mind being a demon for my own sake now." Pulikesi tells Naganandi that Sivakami should be chased away as she is trying to create a divide between the brothers. Naganandi is furious at this and tells Pulikesi, I can never give up Sivakami. Saying this, he walks off. Just then, Pulikesi hears the news that the Pallava army is mounting an attack. He is furious that the spies had not brought any news on this. The messenger tells him that all the spies have been dismissed and the Bhikshu has taken over that role. Pulikesi is shocked. The Pallava and the Chalukya army fought a very bloody war on the banks of Narmada river. The battle raged on for a few days, but in the end, each and every Chalukya soldier was killed. There was no trace of Pulikesi, and it was not sure whether he had died or escaped. Narasimha Varma asks Shatrughna to search every corner of the battlefield and heads towards the Chalukya kingdom. Before Shatrughna, Naganandi retrieves Pulikesi's body, cremates it, and swears revenge. As Narasimha Varma prepares for a siege of the Chalukya fort, he gets a message from the fort asking for a truce. Narasimha Varma is reluctant to offer truce, but Paranjodi feels that further bloodshed should be avoided. This leads to an argument between Narasimha Varma and Paranjodi that leaves everyone shocked. Narasimha Varma is unyielding and orders his army to mount an attack. As the Pallava army is planning to mount the attack, they get a message that King Pulikesi is back in the fort. They assume that he had somehow managed to escape and entered the fort through a hidden passage. The Pallava army attacks the Chalukya fort with all its might. It was death and destruction everywhere. Sivakami was sad at the outcome of this and felt responsible. As she stood and watched, she felt herself dragged away and notices that Pulikesi is taking her along. When they get to a safe place, Pulikesi removes his crown and Sivakami stares into Naganandi's face. It was him disguised as Pulikesi. He convinces Sivakami that he can take her out of the fort. Sivakami refuses to budge. Paranjodi comes in search of Sivakami and learns that Naganandi has forcibly taken her through the secret passage. He gives chase along with his men and captures him. As Naganandi pleads and reminds Paranjodi how he had saved him a few times, Paranjodi softens and asks that Naganandi be released. Just then, Paranjodi realizes that Naganandi was planning to throw a poison knife at Sivakami when he steps forward and cuts Naganandi's hands off. Naganandi falls down on the ground. When he regains his consciousness, he explains to Paranjodi that he is a sinner and he had sacrificed his own brother Pulikesi and the kingdom due to the love he had for Sivakami. Paranjodi says, Bhikshu, whatever you might say, you have done your part in bringing destruction to the Pallava kingdom as well as the death of King Mahendra Varma, who was like a father figure to me. But I am not inhuman and I cannot kill someone who is ochre clad. Please leave before I change my mind. Narasimha Varma and Aayanar enter the fort and Sivakami is full of emotion when she sees them after so many years. Everyone gets a shock when Narasimha Varma rudely speaks to her and Aayanar and asks, Is your daughter happy now that her wish has been fulfilled? Paranjodi also gets very disturbed at the loss of life, all the destruction that has happened, and importantly, Narasimha's harsh words to Sivakami. He decides that it is enough and he doesn't want to continue in this manner anymore. He decides to become a staunch Shaivite and request Narasimha Varma to relieve himself of the Senapati post. Narasimha Varma proudly announces that the credit for the victory goes to Paranjodi. He offers a big share of the wealth gotten from the Chalukya kingdom to him. Paranjoti responds and says, "O king, all I need is some place in your heart and nothing else." Saying this, Paranjoti takes his leave and goes on a long pilgrimage. The victorious Narasimha Varma returns to Kanchi palace and goes around the city in his chariot. Sivakami is watching all this and notices a woman alongside the Chakravarti in the chariot. She asks Kamali, "Who's this lady besides Narasimha Varma?" To this, Kamali says, "What sort of a question is this? She is the queen." Sivakami is heartbroken. All these 9 years she was waiting for Narasimha Varma to come and rescue her, but she didn't realize that Narasimha Varma is now married and has 2 kids. She feels quite foolish at her oath and everything that has transpired in the last 9 years. She feels really bad that she had an opportunity to come back with Narasimha Varma and maybe she could have been the queen. But then she also remembered King Mahendra Varma's words to her that someone like her who is an excellent dancer should dedicate her life to dance and should not aspire for anything else. She cries her heart out, after which she slowly starts to find peace and resolves her way forward. When Aayanar asks her if he can find a suitable groom, Sivakami responds, "I have found my groom. I have accepted Ekambara, who is Lord Shiva, as my husband. I will devote my life in his service." Saying this, she goes to the Shiva temple and starts dancing. This concludes the epic novel Sivakamiyin Sabatham. Kalki's style of writing is so popular that this book still has a huge fan following. We hope you enjoyed this long but interesting story. Please consider subscribing to this channel and hit the bell icon if you have not done already. This will help us notify you each time we present a classic. Also, as I request every time, please let us know if there is a classic in your native language that you would like us to share with everyone. Our contact details are in the section below. We have also included the links of all the volumes of this book in the section below. Namaste and Jai Hind.